Hi, my name is Mia Calcaterra. The title for the lesson is Partner Reading. It's for Module 6. It can be for full classroom instruction and then break off into partner groups. And then grade level is about 1 through 7 in this activity. So, to begin our lesson, I will start by assessing students. I will provide them with an oral reading assessment. They will all read the same passage, and then I will rank them accordingly. I did this starting out with my students, and I had Brian ranked as my highest, then I had Jason, then I had Amy, then I had Joe, then I had Adam, then I had Eric, then I had Opie, then I had Dennis, then I had Joanne, Nisa, Jennifer, and then Jamie. So when I did that, then I ranked my students. I ranked them highest to lowest, and then I split the classroom in half. And the first half started here, so Brian would be at the top, and then my second half of students is here, so Brian and Opie would now be partners, because Brian was first and Opie was sixth, and then Jason was second, Dennis was seventh, and then they were ranked, and so on. So those are their partners, and that's how I got their score, is by giving them all the same assessment. And then I got their scores, and I put a high person with a low person, so that way then my higher reading student could help my lowest reading student. So students will then sit next to their partners. That'll be their new assigned seating. So that'll be their next seating for about 4 weeks as we do these activities. The text will fit my lowest student. So I will have texts that fit. So Brian and Opie's text will be different from Jason and Dennis's text. And it'll go based off, if it was Brian and Opie's group, it would go off of what Opie can do. So that is how I will get their reading text. Then it will be and then after that, I will go over how to be the reader. So, class, today I am going to show you how you're going to be doing your partner work. So, for our partners today, it is Brian and Opie, Jason and Dennis, Amy and Joanne, Joe and Nisa, Adam and Jennifer, and Eric and Jamie. So, you guys have now all sat by your partners. You know where you're going to be. These are going to be your seats for the next 4 weeks because these are going to be your partners. So, when we're doing these reading activities, you're going to have a reader and a coach. So, if I'm looking at Brian and Opie's group, Brian, you're going to go first, so that way you can kind of show Opie how to do this. You're older, you have more experience, you know a little bit more of what you're doing. So, when you're the reader, your job is to read fluently, accurately, and do your absolute best. Everyone is going to make mistakes, and that is okay, but our goal is to make the least amount of mistakes as possible. Then, Opie, you would be the coach. Your job is to listen. That is your job. If there are 4 things that you really need to listen for: saying the wrong word, getting stuck on a word, skipping a word, or adding in extra words. That's your job. Listen to those. And if you hear something that's going on, I'm going to show you how to deal with that. When we are in our groups, our job is to be respectful. Your behavior is probably the number one thing I'm looking at. You're going to be polite. You're going to be kind. Your partner is going to mess up, and it's not your job to penalize them, hurt their feelings, or anything of that sort. Your job is to help them, encourage them, move on, because our job is to become better readers. We're going to try and improve our fluency and become better oral readers. When you are correcting mistakes, like I said, the 4 things we're looking at. Number 1 is when we say the wrong word. You're going to give them 4 seconds. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. And if they didn't notice that they said the wrong word, you're going to say stop. You said the wrong word. The word was, instead of saying map, they said tap. And you're going to say, you said tap, but it is map. And then you're going to say, what did I say it was? They're going to say map. And then you're going to say good. Now read the sentence again. That's how you're going to properly fix a mistake. You're not going to sit there and penalize them, tell them everything. No, you're going to say stop. You did this. You should have done this. Please restate the sentence. You're going to encourage them, and you're going to move on. The second thing is getting stuck on a word. If someone's looking at a word and they can't figure out that it says stop, Or if the word is rabbit and they can't figure out what it is and they keep going or they can't figure it out, that's when you're going to say, stop, the word is blank. What was the word? They're going to repeat it, and then you're going to say, good, now repeat the sentence. You're going to do this for pretty much every single step. If they skip a word and they don't realize it within 4 seconds, you're going to say, or this one, you don't have to wait 4 seconds. If they skip the word and keep going on with the sentence, you're going to say, stop, you missed a word, please repeat the sentence. You're not going to tell them what word it was, but you are going to say, stop, please repeat the sentence. The fourth thing that they can do is add in an extra word. Again, this isn't a thing where you wait 4 seconds. If they add in the extra word and continue to keep going and don't self-correct themselves, you're going to say, stop, you added in an extra word, please repeat the sentence. Does that make sense? Okay, so again, how to be a reader. You're going to do your absolute best. You're going to work on fluency, rate, word pronunciation. You're going to look excited when you're reading. To be the coach, you're going to listen for those 4 things that really are the biggest things that they could do. You're going to stop, you're going to have them fix what they just did, you're going to correct them, you're going to encourage them, and you're going to move on. So, and our behavior is the top thing for me. If you're being respectful, kind, doing this as you can, that's all I'm really asking for. So next, you're going to turn to your partners, and we're going to work on marine mammals. I want you to go through each. You're going to read this short passage. I want you to go one by one and do it, and I want you to listen for those mistakes. Do your absolute best. It's a very simple reading passage, but I want you to get the idea of going through and correcting your partners. I want you to know what it feels like, how to help your students. That is the goal with our partner reading. Now, if I were to work with special education students, I would not put them together. I would again put them with a higher reader or even with an associate or the teacher. When I do that, I would provide them with easy reading examples. So like marine mammals, instead of that being their example just the one time, I might have them work on that multiple times. If I'm working with my talented and gifted students, I would give them, instead of per se giving a high student and a low student, if I had 2 students that were very high students, I would maybe put them together because they can push each other, they can get harder articles or passages, because when you're doing the high and the low student, if you're working at the low student's pace, the high student, if I have a student that is that excelled, I would want them to have someone that can push them to do better. Then if I'm working with my ELL students, I would probably put them with an English speaking student to start out to see if they can grasp the concept, do it in English. If they cannot, I would either put them with an associate, a teacher, or maybe even another ELL student and let them do it in Spanish and then transfer over to English. That's my best way to think through it and provide them with how they can understand the material. So that's it. Thank you.